Okay, let's start exploring empirical rule. So here is the graph. As you can see, this is the graph of the normal distribution. Normal distribution is a unimodal and symmetric data value that is centered at mean. So mean is in the middle of the distribution. Now, the other thing that you'll see in the normal curve is the standard deviation. Here is the mean. So you can see here is 1 standard deviation above the mean, 2 standard deviation above the mean, 3 standard deviation above the mean. And this side we have 1 standard deviation below the mean, 2 standard deviation below the mean, and 3 standard deviation below the mean. So you can see that as we go 3 standard above and 3 standard deviation below, we get the shape of the curve like that. So meaning of that is the standard deviation will give you the spread of the distribution, how much the data is spread about the mean, that can be measured by the standard deviation. Now let's find out how much data is within 1 standard deviation of the mean. So if we go 1 standard deviation above the mean and 1 standard deviation below the mean, we have 68% of the data. Similarly, if we go 2 standard deviation above the mean and 2 standard deviation below the mean, the total amount of data that you see here is 95%. Now, finally, if we go 3 standard deviation above the mean and 3 standard deviation below the mean, you will see that there is 99.7% data. So this picture that represents the percentage of data within a specific interval is the empirical rule. So within 1 standard deviation, you have 68%, 2 standard deviation 95%, and 3 standard deviation it is 99.7%. So this is the empirical rule. We can use empirical rule to solve some basic problem in statistics.